For decades, when Formula One fans heard just one name, they knew exactly what it meant: championship, innovation, ruthless aerodynamic brilliance. A man whose pen has shaped more dominant cars than entire engineering departments. That name is Adrian Newey. And now, in a move that could completely rewire the future of Formula One, reports are emerging that Adrian Newey is set to take on the role of team principal at Aston Martin from 2026. And if that wasn't already seismic enough, another major shift is happening alongside it. Andy Cowell is reportedly moving into a new role as Chief Strategy Officer. This is not just a staff change. This is a power restructure, a technological takeover, and potentially the beginning of a new Formula One era. Because this isn't just Adrian Newey joining another team. This is Adrian Newey stepping into power. To understand why this is so significant, you need to understand one simple truth. Adrian Newey is not just a designer. He is a philosopher. He is a blueprint for domination. His fingerprints are on championship-winning machinery for Williams, McLaren, and Red Bull. He has built cars that changed regulations, machines so effective the FIA had to rewrite entire rulebooks just to slow them down. Now imagine that mind not just at a drafting board, but defining the entire direction of a Formula One team. Technical, strategic, developmental, philosophical. That is what the role of team principal represents. And from 2026, according to growing reports, that is exactly what may happen at Aston Martin. The timing is not random. 2026 is not just another season. It is a complete reset in Formula One. New engine regulations, new aerodynamic concepts, new sustainability rules, new chassis philosophies. The grid will be wiped clean. The next champions will not be decided by who was strongest in 2024 or 2025, but by who understands the future faster than anyone else. And there is no one in modern Formula One history more dangerous in a regulation reset than Adrian Newey. He dominated after the 1992 changes with Williams, the 1998 aero shift with McLaren, the 2010-2013 era with Red Bull, and now the current ground effect age. He doesn't adapt to new rules, he defines them. And giving him the authority of a team principal is not a technical appointment, it is a declaration of intent. But this story does not end with Newey. The second name in this equation is just as important: Andy Cowell, the man who helped create Mercedes' most dominant hybrid power units, the architect of long-term operational efficiency, the strategist who understands how to build systems that last for years. According to reports, Cowell will step into a newly created role as Chief Strategy Officer. That means Aston Martin would be combining two of the most powerful minds in modern Formula One. One focused on design, performance, and vision. The other focused on structure, efficiency, planning, and execution. In simple terms, Newey creates the weapon, and Cowell designs the war plan. This is not a random combination. This is a calculated construction of a championship machine. And suddenly, Aston Martin stops looking like a team trying to catch up. It starts looking like a team preparing to take over. Everything begins to make sense. The immense factory investment, the new wind tunnel, the advanced simulation tools, the aggressive hiring from rival teams. These are not short-term upgrades. These are the quiet construction stages of a long-term empire. And when you place Adrian Newey at the top of that structure, those facilities go from impressive to terrifying. Up to this point, Aston Martin has shown flashes of brilliance, but also inconsistency. Rapid progress followed by sudden stagnation, multiple development directions, concept swings, strong qualifying followed by weaker race behavior. But if Newey enters as team principal, that uncertain identity disappears. One mind, one philosophy, one direction. The parallel ideas stop. The confusion disappears. The car becomes an extension of a single vision. And in Formula One, a clear vision is more powerful than any single upgrade. Then there is the psychological impact. Adrian Newey is respected everywhere. Drivers respect him, engineers respect him, team principals respect him, even the FIA respects him. If he becomes team principal of Aston Martin, the image of the team changes overnight. It becomes a destination for top talent. Engineers will want to work there. Drivers will want to drive there. Sponsors will want to attach themselves to it. Suddenly, Aston Martin isn't building for the future. It is the future. And what does this mean for the rest of the grid? Red Bull would feel the shock on both emotional and strategic levels. Newey is a core part of their greatest era. Seeing him lead a rival team in a brand new regulation cycle would create one of the most intense underlying rivalries in modern Formula One. It would be Red Bull versus its own legacy. Mercedes would identify the danger instantly. They know what it means when structure, strategy, and technical leadership align. After all, that's how they dominated for 8 years. Ferrari, too, would feel the pressure, because historically, Ferrari struggles most when another team finds absolute internal harmony. Another important factor is timing with the 2026 power unit and sustainability changes. The new rules will focus heavily on electrical deployment, energy efficiency, cooling architecture, and aerodynamic synergy. These are not separate components. They are a complete system. And Adrian Newey is one of the very few individuals who can design that entire system as one unified concept. He doesn't think in separate departments. He thinks in total performance loops: airflow, chassis, battery, weight distribution, drag efficiency, center of gravity, cooling flow. If he controls that vision at team principal level, Aston Martin does not have to adapt to the new era. They can define it. That is why this story matters to all Formula One fans. This is not just a transfer rumor. It is a potential shift in power balance for the next generation of the sport. This is a sign that Aston Martin is no longer interested in participating. They want to dominate, and they are building the leadership structure to do it. Adrian Newey as team principal from 2026, Andy Cowell as chief strategy officer. Two of the most proven minds in modern Formula One operating inside one organization backed by one of the most heavily invested infrastructures in the sport. That is not a coincidence. That is a plan. And Formula One history has shown us a very clear pattern. Whenever Adrian Newey is given freedom, authority, and a new set of rules, he doesn't just compete, he changes the sport. Now, for the first time, he may be given not just a car to design, but an entire team to shape. That is not a job change. That is power transfer. The real danger for the grid isn't 2025. It's what happens when 2026 arrives and Aston Martin rolls out a machine designed not by committee, not by compromise, not by politics, but by one of the greatest technical minds in racing history, supported by one of the most strategic minds in the modern era. That is the kind of combination that wins championships for years, not races for weekends. So when you hear this phrase, Adrian Newey to take on the role of team principal at Aston Martin from 2026, with Andy Cowell moving into a newly created position as chief strategy officer, understand what it truly means. It means direction. It means identity. It means a new hierarchy forming in Formula One. And it means when the new era begins, everyone else might not be chasing Red Bull, Mercedes, or Ferrari anymore. They might all be chasing Aston Martin. And that is why this is not just breaking news, it is a warning to the entire grid.